It's the NFL on EA Sports as we get set for a Super Bowl 21 rematch. It's the Denver Broncos and the New York Giants, and it's coming up next.
We welcome everybody to the Garden State. EA Sports coverage of the NFL finds us at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Happy to be on hand. I'm Brandon Gaudin with Charles Davis. And before we kick, partner, your keys to the game, please.
Well, my keys are on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. And the big one, making sure you avoid giving up the big play. These safeties are going to get tested all game long. Their job, keep the ball in front of them, tackle people, make them run extra plays in order to try and score.
The longtime Panther Graham Gano has us set for a start as we are underway from MetLife Stadium. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. And they'll be led out by their rookie QB, the young man out of Oregon.
We're seeing it more and more in this league, how teams love to have athletes back there taking the snaps, guys who can throw it and move around and get yardage with their legs if needed. He's one of the best examples that we see out there right now. He can throw for hundreds of yards one week and then run for 100+ the next. He adds an extra dimension that really confounds defenses when he puts it all together.
Give him 3 there on the first play of the game, and it's second down.
Look, all any running back wants is a little bit of room, a little bit of space in order to maneuver. But he also understands how difficult it is for his offensive line up front. So if they give him any space, he realizes his job to make more out of it than what they give him. Picks up 3 on that carry.
And this to a former Giant. It's Evan Ingram. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. I think defensively you're okay with that. You're in the first quarter. He's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on. And I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on third.
Just a simple run play there on 3rd and 1, but this D was up to the challenge and stopped them, bringing up 4th down.
The Broncos send out their punter now. He'll kick it away after a 3-and-out on the opening drive of the game. We'll call it a 42-yard punt, 3 on the return. And it'll be Giant football, 1st and 10. So now we'll get a look at the other offensive unit as they come out for their first possession. They're led onto the field by their quarterback, a man who's made quite the name for himself in the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense. Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering. What a nice play he made there in the open field.
And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
Here comes 3rd and about a foot. Motioning to the left is Robinson. 3rd down, here's Tracy. And he gets it to the 34, good enough for the first.
Well, partner, none of these runs individually have added up to a whole lot.
Now, 3 plays, all 3 short runs, but together a first down.
Yeah, it's amazing how the narrative changes when you string them together.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. They'll go again with Tracy. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. But Nick Bonito not letting him escape there. He was in instant pursuit off the snap and dropped him behind the line.
As a linebacker, you're taught to stay just slightly behind the ball carrier just in case he makes a cutback. But when you find the gap, shoot it. And he found it all right. Took it straight into the backfield and made the tackle for a loss.
He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. It'll be a loss of 2, maybe 3 on the play. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here.
And we constantly talk about people being on the same page. In this situation, the two of them saw the play with the same eyes. They understood where the open spaces were going to be, and they found a way to get there to pick up a new set of downs.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. It's picked up by the Broncos. And they'll be at the 18-yard line. Great field position here in the red zone.
Well, that's a down and distance coaches always talking about trying to avoid, isn't it? I mean, that's 3rd and long, and you just know they're pinning their ears back and coming after him, sometimes even with extra pressure.
And he knew that. I mean, he knew they were coming. He just fumbled it.
Yeah, he knew it. The offensive line knew it. Everyone did, yet the pressure was still there, and he ended up coughing it up.
So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. They've got the ball in a great spot here, already inside the red zone following that fumble recovery. On 1st and 10, it's Dobbins. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
And he is out of bounds, getting it down to the 10. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. Pretty effective run there, and now they can start to smell that end zone.
Pound the rock. Make sure you use your O-line to set the tone of dominance and physicality, and pound the rock.
The slot man in motion right. He's going to get it on the jet sweep. Oh, and this one may need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to be swallowed up right away. 2 yards the loss, and now they go from 2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
Well, as a wideout, when you take that handoff and you're coming around the edge, you're expecting to see nothing but empty space in front of you. But if not...
Well, things can go south in a hurry, and that's exactly what we saw on that play with a loss. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And the Broncos are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed. Touchdown! Cortland Sutton from 6 yards away. And the Broncos take the early turnover and convert it into an opening touchdown. A nice connection there, finding his target, and that'll put 6 up on the board.
Just like they drew it up in their playbook and reiterated it on the sidelines, right? Perfect route, a good throw, and the defense, they had no answer for that right there.
Will Lutz on for the point after. And he's got it. 7-0 Broncos. So that drive, 4 plays. And Cortland Sutton able to finish things off with the touchdown reception. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. So the Giants getting the football back here for their second drive. They had the fumble on the last drive, wound up leading to the opening touchdown. Now they'll try again here, 1st and 10. Wilson has this complete to Daniel Bellinger. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34.
And there wasn't much room for the big tight end to do much after the catch. But at least he was able to pick up a solid gain to help his offense continue to move in the right direction.
And from the 34, here's 2nd and 4. Now it's Wilson. And he couldn't square up to throw there, and it falls incomplete.
Not sure what happened there, but he just didn't get the right read on the coverage that time. Pass wasn't where it needed to be, and that'll send them back to the drawing board.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. In motion left, Robinson. Now Wilson. He's got his target. That's complete. And he will have a Giants 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
They go play action now. Wilson. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6.
And this is what you've got to do against a quarterback like him. You've got to keep him in the pocket and not let him get to the perimeter, because once he gets outside, that's where he can really hurt you.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Straight ahead, here's Tracy. And able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
A tough spot here. 3rd and 15. Wilson. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Boy, that was certainly well read defensively. And the key to any screen play is space to work. And there was none to be found there. And they tackle him for just a short gain.
On 4th down, Jamie Gillen on to punt for the Giants. And Marvin Mims deep for Denver. This is taken around the 12. A nice return that time, gets 12 yards back. And the Broncos take over, 1st down and 10. And the football going back over to the Denver Broncos. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. Here's Nix. He's going to let this one go deep. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down.
Well, they had that one snipped out defensively. That's a tough one to connect on when you got multiple defenders in the area, and it winds up incomplete.
2nd and 10. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Harvey, and he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
That's a play to take note of there for the defense, I think, in the future. If you're going to try and block him, maybe you get a guard to help double team him and try and steer him out of the play. They should have done it on that snap.
Throwing Nix. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a 1st down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short, because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the 1st down, even throwing the football.
And that's a 48-yard punt with the coverage holding him to 3 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. They'll start with a run by Tracy. And it'll be a minimum pickup here as it will take us to the end of the 1st quarter. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Ready to roll for the second quarter from MetLife Stadium. The Giants with the football. Here's a 2nd and 8. As they've got it as we resume action. They run the option on 2nd down. And able to use his blockers to get this up over the 40. The keeper gets him 7 that time, but it'll lead to a 3rd down. Now that's what he can do, when he keeps the football. It's not a huge gain, but it shows how hard it can be to stop him.
Yeah, and I thought the defense had that one pretty well contained, and in fact, they probably came up and felt pretty good about what they did. Then they looked up and realized he still got good yardage out of it. He's a tough guy to stop.
And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
What do you think, Brandon? I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. On 4th down, here's Jamie Gillen on to punt. And now a high kick here as he'll try to hang it up there. Not good at all. Punt of just 24 yards there. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. And Denver getting set to take the field. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
Now 2nd and 5. Now a toss left side for Dobbins. And the defense on him quickly there as they stop him at the 40 for a gain of just 2. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium. And this offense on 3rd down today, just 1 for 3 thus far. This time it's 3rd and 3. Now it's Nix. That is caught. And he will have a Broncos 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
But we're used to seeing the guy that you consider the #1 receiver double covered. But how about this guy? He's double covered and finds a way to make the play for a 1st down.
That's how you increase your Madden rating, right?
No doubt about that at all. And you know something? I think we'll hear about that from him soon.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. A short throw to Ingram. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. That'll go for a gain of 7, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days. But you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred a defense.
6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive, they went 3 and out.
To throw is Nix. A short throw to Ingram. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down. Now that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
A give up the middle to Dobbins. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down.
But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
In motion right goes Sutton. And he'll get it here on the jet sweep. And this is not going to work as planned. He's going to be met and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. That's the danger, Charles, of running plays like this for your wide receiver. They can hit big or they can be duds.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, because if they're forced to try and go around defenders behind the line of scrimmage, sometimes you can give yardage in order to gain it. But in this case, they gave yardage and didn't get it back.
And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. 18 yards on his first catch of the game. It's a first down.
Boy, everything clicking on this drive. He's 4 for 4 now, and that throw, maybe the best of the bunch. This offense is really humming, and they pick up another first down.
They'll bring one of the tight ends in motion left. They'll run with Dobbins. And a little bit of space there, takes it inside the 5 to the 3. Give him 4 on the carry there at 2nd and goal.
That's good power football on 1st and goal. A lot of teams will throw from there, but that's a nice job to chew up a few more yards and get yourself closer to the goal line.
So the ball position now at the 3. Here's 2nd and goal. To throw, here's Nix. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. They get only a yard there. Now it's 3rd and goal.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
The line of scrimmage is the 2 here on 3rd and goal. Dobbins will take it in. Touchdown, Denver.
Well, he'd been the workhorse on this drive, and it would have been unfair to bring someone else in to finish the job. So they go back to him again, and he delivers with a touchdown run.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. That one in the books as a 12-play drive. And it's finished off by a touchdown run from J.K. Dobbins. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. And New York set to take the field. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer, and make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Tracy going to get it on first down. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. Ball spotted at the 45. Here's a 2nd and 8. Here's Wilson to throw. This one is Slayton over the middle. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Now it's Wilson. A throw on the run, but that's going to be incomplete.
Nice progress down the field was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
Here's 2nd and 10. And Robinson, the motion man right. Here's Wilson. That one taken in by Neighbors. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he will have a Giants first down as this defense unable to hold. It's a 7-yard gain there on 3rd and 2. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Now 2nd and 3. In motion, the tight end. Again, Wilson. Catch made by Slayton. Now the Giants will use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw is Wilson. Over the middle, he completes it to Robinson. It'll go as a gain of 4, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. From the left hash, a chip shot here. Gano's kick is good, and they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. Well, still trailing here, but they do get the late field goal. Now their defense will try to keep this score right where it is heading into the locker room. Yeah, and trailing it to break, you obviously don't want to go in off of a negative play. Give them credit for that one. Finding a way to put points on the board. Give them any type of a spark, anything to build off of as they try and plan a comeback. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And they'll have time for one play. There's 2 seconds on the clock. They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And this will go as a short gain on what will be the final act of this first half. So we come upon halftime with the visiting Broncos taking the lead to the locker room. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. Ready for the second half. 14-3 our score as we are back underway on EA Sports. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Here's the Giants offense now getting set to start the third quarter. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
That one good for 20 on the catch and run.
And this is what they're going to need more of. It's the third quarter. You're trailing. You've got to come out with a renewed sense of purpose, and that's a nice way to kick off the drive with good yardage and a first down.
Off the play fake. Here's Wilson. And he's got his man in stride, complete. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line.
Now that's the type of play that gives you a chance to win. Nothing forced downfield where you don't have a guy open. Swing it out to the back, and maybe even check it down, whatever you want to call it. Gain of 5. You're just trying to get 4 on first down. They're ahead of the chains now.
Throwing is Wilson. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. It'll be a gain of 5, and they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches.
I know it was a gain, but you have to sense probably a little bit of disappointment there because when it's out there in open space, I think they expect to get more out of a play, don't you?
Especially when you're getting it to your guy out of the backfield. You're expecting him to be able to create something, be a little more shifty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good open field tackling held it to an okay game.
And he will have a Giants first down as he's able to get about 3 that time on 3rd and inches. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Right back to Tracy. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. There for the stop defensively, Nick Bonito.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
2nd and 9. Now Wilson. That's complete to Robinson. And he gets it down a yard or 2 shy of the 30 before he's out of bounds. Seventh play of the drive now as they come up on a 3rd and 3. In motion, Slayton. Play action. It's Wilson. Throw left side, taken in by Slayton. And I don't think he got there, no. He's short by maybe a foot, maybe. Call it 4th and inches.
Well, it wasn't a big strike, but that completion put them in really great range. What do we have now, 4th and inches?
Yeah, it's not more than a half a foot.
You know what I would do here?
You would always go for it.
I'm one of those guys.
Gano's kick is good. And a second field goal here cuts their deficit to 14-6 now. So they were facing the deficit coming out of the locker room at intermission, and at least they're able to get the field goal to cut into that deficit.
Yeah, now your offense feels pretty good about itself, right? A little bit more up to speed coming out of the break. You turn to your defense now and say, hey, we got 3 there. We're chipping into the lead. Can you help us out? Hold them. Let's get the ball back for us.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. Nix to the air. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34. Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. Off the play fake. Here's Nix. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. Looking to throw. Nix. A short throw to Ingram. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive alive.
They got a completion there, but that's clearly an example of one side happy, the other side not very happy. Defense, hey, take 1 or 2 yards. We're good with that. Offense, you got to expect to get more on the passing play.
Off the play fake. Nix. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
What an intelligent play as he found open grass and uncovered quickly. A nice clutch play to move the chains. The defense, they've got to do a much better job of accounting for these shorter routes.
So the drive takes them into Giants territory now. 1st and 10 at the 41. They'll run up the gut with Dobbins. Now this will leave them a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
2nd down and a little more than a yard here. Another run here with Dobbins. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He winds up giving a yard back there, and now it's 3rd and 2.
Well, I would have figured after the 9-yard run on the previous play, getting 1 more yard wouldn't have been much of a problem. But apparently it was, and now it's 3rd down.
Trying to keep the drive going here. This is play number 7 on 3rd and 2. Operating from the gun, here's Nix. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And boy, he is very close to a 1st down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short.
If this were baseball, we'd call this small ball. Instead of pushing it downfield, they throw a short pass trying to pick up the 1st down, but the defense rallies to the football and stops him short, bringing up a 4th down.
The kick by Lutz is good, and that will extend their lead here to 17-6. So the lead grows here incrementally, but I think the way their defense is playing, you feel okay with just getting 3.
They've definitely been stout so far, but now that could all change because if one guy gets loose for 70 yards, this is a different game. But as it stands, field goals are good. Just keep adding to that lead.
From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And the decision to bring it out, kind of a costly one, as he won't make it back to the 20. And now out come the Giants. And tough to win games if you're going field goal, field goal, field goal here. They got field goal last time. Now they'll be looking for a touchdown.
They're looking for the big chunk now because, as you noted, the field goal, field goal, field goal way of doing it makes it that much harder and puts more pressure on every possession for you now. Go ahead and get 6 and feel a lot more comfortable about the position they're in.
Bigger chunks. We'll see if they can get the score.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end. Let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
And he is going to lose yardage here. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. They'll hand it to Tracy. And he's able to get it to the 31, and that's enough for the 1st. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. On to give, it's Tracy. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
3rd quarter from MetLife Stadium. Here's a 2nd and 10. Now they'll throw it with Wilson. He's got this complete to Robinson. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down.
Good sharp route right there. They're going to line him up out to the right. And since this is man coverage, his goal, find a way to get the defender to turn his hips. He's able to do so right there, and they get a connection for a first down.
So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 44-yard line. Here's Wilson. Going right side, he finds Slayton. So the completion good for 7 there, and that'll make it 2nd down. So it's a quarter that saw these two teams trade field goals here as we've reached the end of 3 quarters of play. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here at MetLife Stadium. 2nd down and 3. It's the Giants with possession of the football but needing points as we start quarter number 4. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. That one a first down pickup of 8. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on 2nd and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right. They did pick up the first down there, but they, as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game. They've got to get there twice to make sure they have a chance to win.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he gets forward up the middle, but only for a couple. It'll be 2nd down. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
And he stopped immediately there. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. But bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
And this will not get close to the first down marker as he's brought down at the 26. They'll try the field goal now with Graham Gano. This a 43-yard attempt. Gano's kick is good, and that'll make this an 8-point game. All right, so they needed 2 scores to get back in the game. The field goal there, maybe not exactly what they wanted, but the necessary first step.
There's still time remaining, and there's enough time to get it done. They've got to get it the least a 3-and-out here to get the ball back, preferably a takeaway.
And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Denver's offense now set to go. Their lead back down to 1 score after the field goal a moment ago, so they'll be looking to string together a few first downs, likely on the ground as they begin 1st and 10. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down, 2nd and right at a yard.
And that's just an ideal run to start this drive because they're in full ball control mode now, so if you keep ripping off 7, 8, 9 yards a carry, you're going to have a great chance of finishing off this game.
Here's a give to Dobbins. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 1.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bringing up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means they might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key third down. Highlight that word. Put it in bold. Here we go. And he will have a Broncos first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
And that pickup of a first down, that's going to leave a mark, because they really needed to stop them there, didn't they?
Oh, so frustrating. Defensively, you're a play away from getting that football back here. Down late, tough.
Now they've got to find a way to create a turnover or takeaway. Otherwise, this one will probably get away from them.
Throwing Nix. A short throw to Ingram. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a second and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. From just across the midfield stripe, here's second down and 1. Up the middle they go. Harvey. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. 7 yards there and a first down. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Sutton reeling it in on the left side. And he gets us down inside the 35 before going out of bounds. That'll give them 8 that time, and they'll be left with second and a couple. Dobbins running out of the gun, and he'll only get a yard to bring up 3rd and 1. Now it looks like we've got a Bronco that's banged up on the play. We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium. The Broncos on 3rd down. They've had good success, 5 for 8 to this point. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. They'll try to run for it with Dobbins. And he gets the first down here as he's taken down at the 24. 50 yards rushing for him in the ball game now on 14 carries.
This has been a tremendous drive to this point, and this is all you want, playing with a lead in the 4th quarter. If you can keep the ball on the ground, keep the sticks moving, you're going to be in good shape to finish this one off.
A fake on the jet sweep and a give to Dobbins. What a great effort there. He's going to get this inside the 15, and they'll spot it at the 13-yard line. Nice run. That one going for a gain of 11 and a Bronco first down.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there, and on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Able to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps rolling, and this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in, and all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
They'll go again with Dobbins. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game. Now this is a big 3rd down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop them here. Here's Nix. He's got his target. That's complete. Touchdown, Broncos. A 5-yard touchdown. And the Broncos have opened up a 2-touchdown lead here in this fourth quarter.
Well, that was absolutely ideal for them, wasn't it? Trying to salt this game away. I think one of my kids just graduated in the amount of time they had the football. That was absolutely impressive.
Everybody wants those salt away the game drives. What makes them successful?
Well, when you're able to mix run-pass, when you're able to control the football and stay ahead of the chains, I'm using every cliche I know, but that's how you get it done because you're not taking negative plays, and that way you're able to run what you want to run when you get a chance to call it.
Lutz with the extra point, and the lead is up to 15 now. So that drive, 12 plays in length, and it culminates in a touchdown by the Broncos. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. The Giants offense and their running back getting ready to go back to work. And he's had his fair share of troubles in this one, unfortunately. This defensive front has wreaked havoc throughout the contest, and he hasn't been able to create enough space to make something positive happen to this point. Here's 1st and 10. Now it's Wilson. That's to the right sideline, and it falls incomplete.
Well, they've certainly had trouble unlocking this defense through 3.5 quarters, so I don't expect it to get any easier now. You know they're going to be sitting back and waiting on everything, and they force an incompletion there.
Here's 2nd down. Wilson. Throw out wide is incomplete.
Back-to-back incompletions, but we know this is definitely 4-down territory. Time not on their side. I don't think they want to try and get the first down in 2 installments. I think they got to go and get it right here, right now.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Wilson. Pass complete to Robinson. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. Clock management definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
2 timeouts still remaining, but scoring quickly, a must. It's 1st and 10. Wilson will throw again. That's caught left side by Neighbors. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, a sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion.
Whew, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle, so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
They'll try again here. 2nd and 10. Now Wilson. That's caught by Johnson. And he'll go out of bounds right around the 40.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Boy, here's a big one. You can just feel it. This is 3rd down now. Throwing again here, Wilson. And this is going to be incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a 1st down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. They'll try and run for it. And he's not going to get the first. I don't even think he made it back to the line of scrimmage. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Broncos will take over on downs. So with that, we can just about close the book on this one, Charles.
Yeah, what's the old expression about slim and none? Well, Slim just left town on that
They're
one.
down to none?
Yes, exactly right.
Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. And checking the timeouts, they do have 2 defensively, but no real need to use them as they're not going to be able to stop the clock after that.
We got to have 2 hands on the football here as they run on first down.
Now the Giants will use the second of their 3 timeouts. Over 50 seconds left to go in the game.
From the 47, it's 2nd and 5. He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball.
The Giants going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in quarter number 4. The win for the Broncos seemingly assured. They go down to a knee. The Broncos send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. Now a high kick, almost a pooch punt. Fair catch called for and taken right near the 30-yard line. It'll be called just a 22-yard punt, certainly not what he wanted. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest.
And that is going to officially draw the curtain on this one as the last throw intercepted. Brandon Jones picking it off.
For this defense, CD, that's kind of the icing on the cake here as we get to the end of this one.
And didn't you feel that they weren't just going into total prevent there? You know, they had the lead, and sometimes you fall back and you lose your aggressiveness. Not in this case. They were still making a play on the football, and look how that one turned out. They may have salted this one away.
Game in hand, the offense takes the knee. So this one will wind up a Denver victory. And we talked so much about the turnover battle, determining who wins, who loses. This game, no exception. Error-free football, no turnovers at all, and they win it.
So this is one you don't have to convince your team that what you're saying is accurate. And you know what I'm talking about. Head coach always stands up in front of the team and says, guys, if we do this, this, and this, we'll win. And usually they say if we win the turnover battle, we'll win. Well, here's the proof right there. Win the turnover battle, go on to victory. Now the guys believe. You move on to the next lesson where you have to convince them. This one is now planted.
I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.